Celebrating 50 years of a club is always special, but when it's 50 years of the Ferrari Owners Club, that makes it super special. We've got 85 Ferraris here gathered at the 4th Row Bridge, and are about to head to Knockhill Racing Circuit for a Ferrari festival. So let's jump in the cars and get going.
Well, the club is full of enthusiasts. It's its 50th anniversary this year, so it's a very, very important year for us. We always love coming up to Scotland because it's so different and so special. We came last year and we were determined to come again. We brought the race series here now, which I think is a terrific attraction, as well as the cars. And we've had this superb crossing of the bridge, which was a very, very special event.
We now catch up with Chris Sainsbury's, who is the brand manager for Grey Paul Group in Edinburgh, our event sponsors. First of all, fabulous to have you here.
It is, great.
We've brought you in front of a Ferrari which even has half of your name on it, so we thought we'd do a little fun interview from there. First of all, tell us, how has Grey Paul been involved with this event?
Yeah, going back last year really, actually, probably a good year ago when the conversation started with the Ferrari Owners Club and also the Pirelli Classic Car Club. And it was an initial sort of idea from one of the Ferrari Owner Club AGOs, asked us if we would be happy to get involved, and obviously we would, Knockhill being our local racetrack. And it all snowballed from there really, accumulating today with the bridge crossing, which was over 100 Ferraris going over the bridge, which was fantastic, and then now the classic racing, but also the open track day for customers and Ferrari Owner Club members as well.
Steve Burns is the series coordinator, and Steve, it's great to have you in Knockhill. We're lucky enough to see you quite a lot throughout the course of the year. Another feather in your cap though, can you tell us about the series first of all?
Yeah, fantastic. I've been coordinating the series now for my 3rd year doing this. The series has been established for a long time. It's the only Ferrari club worldwide that has its own unique race series, and we've got a series here that caters for the classic cars, the Pirelli Ferrari Formula Classic Series, ventures everything up to the Ferrari 355s. We do move the regulations on as time evolves, so the 355s were introduced last year to bring a new element to it, but the racing still remains very close. The competitive 328s, Gary Culver's 328 is normally running right up the front end with the more modern 355s as well. Great to be back here at Knockhill to supporting what is a much larger Ferrari event, and of course this being a big year celebrating 70 years of Ferrari and 50 years of the Owners Club.
How many classes do we actually have here? Because we see so many nice different Ferraris in the pit lane garages.
There are 5 classes in the series, and it's based on the modification level of the cars. So you've got the classes 1 and 2 for the up to 3 litre cars, unmodified or slightly modified, and then you've got the classes 3 and 4, which is for the over 3 litre cars. So that's mainly where the 328s would sit. The newest class we introduced, as I mentioned, is class 5, which is for the 355s and the more highly modified cars. Those cars essentially built as race cars for the old 355 Challenge series that was run by the factory back in the 1990s.
Catching up with the doc is always lovely on a race day. Dr. Robert Johnson, who I normally share a lovely warm commentary box with at Knockhill Racing Circuit, is great to see you here. You were calling morning warm-up this morning, and we saw a bit of an upset with Peter Fisk's car being fastest in the damp, wet conditions.
Yes, we were expecting one of the mid-engine 308s or 328s to be on pole, or well, it's not pole because it's a practice as opposed to qualifying. They're going out for qualifying just shortly, but we didn't expect to see one of the front-engine cars at the front. So the 550 Maranello Peter Fisk was driving looked ideal in the wet conditions. He got a little bit more performance put down onto the track surface, and by a few tenths of a second was ahead of Gary Culver in second place.
And this is when it starts to get that little bit serious. The Pirelli Ferrari Formula Classic Series about to hit the track for their qualifying session. Let's see who comes out with that pole position. Qualifying so vitally important here at Knockhill Racing Circuit. 1.2 miles off twisty tarmac in Scotland. Let's see how these guys get on. Tricky conditions for them. You can see it's patchy at the hairpin there as Gary Culver does come through and makes it this main straight as well. Quite a low cloud cover and overall low temperature. Gary Culver qualifying brought to a halt early through a few technical issues with the car.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Yeah, we had a bit of clutch slip, so which meant to say coming up the hill here, the engine was revving a bit too hard. So I thought rather than burn the clutch out, I better bring it in and see if we can fix it.
So a disaster for Gary Culver, but you have to look at Lee Molden, Peter Fisk, Chris Butler, Nick Cartwright as well, and Chris Goddard all going very well. Chris Butler here in his silver 328 GTB, a man who's really gelling with Knockhill's twisty tarmac. But back into the pit lane for him for a little bit of check over. Let's catch up with Chris Butler now. Chris, you're probably about a 90% dry line around the track there. Can you lean on this a little bit more through the turns?
I think so, you're right. There's 10% that's still a bit damp, and there's definitely another second or two to find, yeah.
Comfortably inside the top 5 though, what's your thoughts on pole?
Top 5 would be good, pole would be amazing. That's dream stuff, I think, yeah. Yeah, there's still 10 minutes to go. We'll see how we get on.
Good luck. Chris Butler, very fast man, as is Peter Fisk. That big 550 Maranello, Peter was talking down how that car would perform on Knockhill from the word go when he unloaded it off the trailer. However, we were all shocked at just how quickly he managed to go. Halfway through qualifying here for the Pirelli Classic Series, and it's Molden, Fisk and Butler, the top 3. It's getting into the sharp end of qualifying now. The track is getting drier, although there is a slight bit of drizzle in the air. As the track dried up, a lot of drivers improved their times. Nick Cartwright, Chris Goddard and Tristan Simpson all going faster and faster towards the end of the session, putting their best laps in on really round about laps 16, 17 and 18. Robert Pullian was also very good, as was David Edge. But into the pit lane, people started to make adjustments on their cars as the track dried. The tyre pressures needed to be altered. Tricky conditions though, they were definitely, because track temperature was still ultimately low. Even though the track was drying, people had to try and find that perfect line. And if you did stray off line, you found yourself in all sorts of difficulty straight away. William Morwood in towards Scotsman Corner here. He was just his first visit to Knockhill. He was just finding his feet on his way around, but ultimately enjoying it ahead of Richard Feeney and Len Watson through qualifying as well. Car number 44, Christopher Goddard, going really well. Rob Pullian here. Rob, qualifying P8, is that your qualifying over? You're back in the pitch just now, there's only a couple of minutes left.
No, we finished, I was doing really well, and then it started getting a little bit jumpy around, so called it quits.
As we come towards the end of qualifying though, with Gary Culver and all sorts of clutch problems with the car not working right, it was Lee Molden who was looking very, very racy. His 355 challenge car was almost untouchable around Knockhill, and a 59.5 second lap made him look pretty special around this 1.2 mile of twisty tarmac. Second place went to car number 30 for Peter Fisk, the big 550 Maranello car, a 59.7, so 0.2 of a second was the difference at the top. And Chris Butler come home in third, car number 5, the 328 GTB with a minute 0.3. We catch up with Lee Molden now, our pole position man. Very tight at the top with Peter Fisk in the big car, but brilliant qualifying from you there. Obviously your first time at Knockhill, you must be enjoying the circuit.
Superb, yeah, love it, absolutely love it. It's not as long as I've only ever seen it with the touring cars. It's not as long as what I thought it was, but no, it's great. I love it, love it.
What's your favourite corner on the circuit?
The complex down here. I don't know the names of them, but the complex down here. And that's awesome. When you get that right, that just feels brilliant.
Good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And Peter, you know, fair play to Peter, he's going really well in that big 550. It's, you know, I thought he might struggle around here, but
We spoke with Peter. His plan is to get in front of you and try and go sideways as much as he can, because he says his car's performance will drop off. Are you going to keep that in the back of your mind, and hopefully the little nimble car will get past him, or if that does happen?
no plans. Just go out there and do it. Just do what I can, try my best. That's all I can do.
There you go, Lee Molden, pole position for the Pirelli Classic Challenge races here at Knockhill. As the cars for the Pirelli Ferrari Classic Series roll up behind us on the grid, we've got a lovely modern one at the front here. The safety car is in position, the guys are getting in their grid slots. Let's take a little trip back down, catch up with some of the drivers before the race. Lancastrian superstar Lee Molden sits on pole position here. Lee, the track is damp, however, and you told me off air not 100% happy about the damp, but what's your thoughts for the race?
I don't know, I'll just see how it goes. I mean, it's the same for everybody, so, you know, just go for it.
Listen, the best of luck, mate. We're going to come and get a quick word with Peter Fisk, who's standing next to his car just now. Another man who rounds out the front row. Peter, wet conditions this morning in FP1, you were the man. This thing seems to like the wet. You must be pretty confident right now.
Well, we'll give it a go. I think the trouble is getting off the line is always going to be difficult, so Lee's definitely going to get away. But I'll hunt him down.
You said to me that you'd like to get in front and make this thing as wide as possible. Well, that wasn't exactly how you said it earlier on, but you make it as wide as possible and stop them getting past?
Yeah, I think if I manage to get in front of people, then I'll make it as difficult as possible for them to get by.
That's the best of luck with the race.
Thank you very much.
But Chris, you're on the second row of the grid. Yeah. You're behind the pole man. I know. What's the plan of attack down to Duffus Dip for turn one?
I think just hopefully everyone will have a bit of space and a bit of room, and short shift. That's my tip. I think
short shift to try and get the traction
or anything, really. Yeah.
What do you think of Peter Fisk on the front row of the grid? That thing struggles to get off the line, he's told us.
Yeah, it struggles to brake as well. It struggles to corner. It's the biggest car on the grid. It's the only V12. It's a lovely noise. I'll say that for it. It's a lovely noise.
An empty space on the second row of the grid is where Gary Culver would be sitting alongside Chris Butler. As you can see, the grid is empty here where I'm standing. Gary currently in the pit garage getting a clutch refit done on that car. Hopefully he will be back for race number 2. Let's go back to the next row off the grid. Car number 3, Nick Cartwright. Nick is currently outside the car. He's got all the safety equipment on. Looks very ready for this. Nick, third row of the grid. Space in front of you guys because we've got Culver in the garage doing the clutch refit. But on your outlap there, what was the grip level like?
It's pretty slippy still. Yeah, very slippy.
And thoughts for the race? Can you get ahead of Chris Butler in front of you there?
We're going to try.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's all about, isn't it? But Goddard's just alongside you. Good luck for the race here. And the general public have now come onto the grid. So we've got Christopher Goddard here. Can I just jump in? Sorry. Christopher Goddard, the general public are now on the grid. You are the lucky man in this position because you have got a free area in front of you. The Culver car's getting a clutch refit across there. So can you make hay while the sun tries to shine at Knockhill, and can you get a leapfrog on Chris Butler there?
Probably if it were dry, that would be possible. Less likely given that we're on an incline and it's very wet, so I'm not expecting that, no.
The grid is set for race number 1 here at Knockhill Racing Circuit. Will it be Molden or will it be Fisk? Time will tell. Let's get the race underway and let's hand up to the commentator. So here we go, race number 1 at Knockhill. The lights already coming on the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge, and away we go. And Fisk gets a good start in that big 550 Maranello car as he heads down side by side with Lee Molden, but Molden manages to sneak ahead as they go through the top of Duffus Dip. And they get through Leslie's, just teetering through there. Conditions, as you can see, very tricky just now. And there had been the added input of an oil spill earlier on, so conditions really couldn't be any trickier. And look at the back end of that 550 Maranello car of Peter Fisk hanging out as he come through the Arnold Clark chicane there. Everybody just finding their way around for lap number 1. But already at the front, Lee Molden, the Lancastrian superstar, as we have heard, is pulling away at the front. Peter Fisk was saying throughout qualification that his car wasn't the ideal car for Knockhill. Having said that, he's doing very, very well so far. Tristan Simpson diving up the inside there. Tristan Simpson in the ex-Jamiroquai car as well. That car actually featured in one of the music videos for JK and his band. So that's quite a famous car there. And it was a bit of a manoeuvre on the inside, but Nick Cartwright managed to see that one off. Once again, this is a battle as they come in towards Clark Corner. Tristan Simpson feeling a little bit racy today, but you're going to have to watch the number 5 car. Listen, it's Chris Butler. Chris Butler really is starting to cut through the traffic there. You can see he's just got past Simpson as they come up the main straight. And can he do anything on Nick Cartwright as they go through Leslie? Yes, he can. He heads for the apex coming through. And look at that. The move is completed before they get anywhere near McIntyre's, which is turn 3 here at Knockhill Racing Circuit. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the front and situation as normal. Peter Fisk hanging the back end of the big 550 Maranello out as he comes through the Arnold Clark chicane. I've got to say, he's actually starting to make inroads into Lee Molden here. Look at him catching him on the brakes here. Possibly the heavier car really giving him a bit more grip on the way into the corner there. Having said that, on the way out, it looks like the little 355 Challenge car has the better option of traction as they go up the main straight. Retiring into the pits, car number 85, that's David Edge. David with some sort of technical issue there in his Ferrari. A few of the team members go to see him. But then we go back to the front. Now, the wiper's on Lee Molden there. The wiper's on really fierce on Lee Molden there. Does that mean it's raining? Or is Lee just trying to keep himself a 100% clear screen in that number 8 car? The car which he shares with Vance Kearney. Vance out this weekend with a bit of a leg issue, so we wish him the best and can't wait to see him back in this car in future later rounds. But look at this, here comes Butler. The incoming number 5 car of Chris Butler really is starting to catch these two guys at the front, and they're going to have to watch, because if they keep mucking about with each other, before they know it, Chris Butler in his 328 GTB is going to be all over them. They're into traffic now, and luckily Molden gets them first, and he can pick his way through past Len Watson there as he goes through McIntyre's, but unfortunately Fisk is caught up behind him. If Fisk manages to get through before Butchers, but look at this, Butler all over them as he comes towards Clark's now. Fisk on full defensive mode from Chris Butler, the hard charging number 5 car. That 328 GTB really has been a good car here this weekend for him. He gets good traction out at the hairpin as well here, so there could be some sort of manoeuvre at Duffy's Dip here as we make our way up the main straight. They're side by side. Oh, and there's a spin for Tristan Simpson at the hairpin there. The 355 Challenge car. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a moment at the hairpin, but you can recover from that. Meanwhile, we go through Leslie's and look at Butler. He's thinking about the inside, but Fisk covers that. That big 550 Maranello really is a big car to try and get past. 5.4 litres of Ferrari V12 power in there, but Butler's having a good look at this round the back of the circuit, because the little 328 GTB is a lot more nimbler through the twisty part off Knockhill. Hairpin, up the inside comes Butler. There's a big lunge, there's contact at the hairpin, and we don't see that often in Ferrari racing. Butler into the side of Fisk. Not the greatest deal of contact, but there was definitely a bit of contact there, and those guys will be up the main straight making sure the cars are perfectly okay before they hit the brakes for Duffy's Dip, hoping the wheels are still pointing in the right direction. So Peter Fisk goes down to 3rd place, and Chris Butler is on a big charge up the back straight now as they're going towards Clark Corner. Fisk is sideways as they come in towards Clark. So can Butler catch up with Molden? No, he can't. He goes over the apex curb and spins. There's a half spin as he goes across the apex. He's onto the grass. He's managed to get off the sausage curb, the hot dog curb, but that blows his race. Chris Butler will be absolutely livid with himself now. That was a fabulous drive up until that point, barring the little bit of contact he had at the hairpin with Peter Fisk. And Peter Fisk will probably be chuckling as he got past Chris Butler on the apex curb there. And here we see the number 5 car now coming through the hairpin. Let's hope there's no damage to the underneath of that car after he was sitting on that sausage curb at Clark Corner. The last lap board goes out now for Lee Molden as they go through the top of Duffy's Dip. Peter Fisk in a fine 2nd place here. And it's been a sensational drive for the driver of the number 8 355 Challenge car. And look at Peter Fisk, he needs to give himself a little bit of a cool down on this lap, because he doesn't want to do a Butler and end up in the gravel trap. But there we see the checker flag flies, and it's a win for car number 8, Lee Molden. It's a good 2nd place for Peter Fisk in the number 30 car, the 550 Maranello, that big 5.4 litre engine. And Chris Butler does come home with a good 3rd place in the 328 GTB, car number 5. Chris Butler, unfortunately, yeah, challenging for the lead there. You had to go for it, but caught out by Clark's corner, the famous slippery Clark's corner over the back in these conditions.
Yeah, I'm sure I went round it just the same speed as all the other previous laps, but just challenging for the lead. Uncharted territory for me, really. I'm not used to running right at the front, and a combination probably of a bit of red mist, but an opportunity, and I thought I'd give it a go. And I just lost the back end, and that was me spun out. But third, I'm still pleased, very pleased.
Peter Fisk, second place. Now, you did say to me at the beginning you'd struggle to get the car off the line, but once you got it going, you had a fantastic race out there with Chris Butler.
It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, obviously Lee got away, and I got close to him a couple of times, but there was no real way I was going to get past Lee. But Chris and I, fantastic race. He was absolutely flying in that 328. Bearing in mind it's a standard car, and we did have a little touch at the hairpin, very unusual. Chris and I have raced side by side for over a decade. First time we've ever had a touch, and sometimes it's motor racing. Sometimes it happens.
No animosity, carry on for that. Everything cleared the air.
No, I expect that there'll be some beers bought at some other point. So yeah, we'll be all right.
And look at the damage on the front of Lee Molden's car there. So another bit of contact which we missed off camera.
Race 1 winner, Lee Molden, and we've got him here. Congratulations, first of all. Having said that, you've not got the biggest smile on your face. Come on, let me know, enlighten me.
Well, just had a bit of a coming together with a back marker. It was kind of 50-50 really. I don't know. I thought he'd see me, but obviously I didn't. So I went for the gap because I had Chris Butler chasing me quite heavily. Really was catching me, to be honest. So I just had to, keep on the gas because I was backing off a bit because I thought I was okay for the rest of the race, but I wasn't. So I got back on it, and I just had to do my best. And unfortunately, we had just a bit of a coming together, which is a no-no in the Ferrari Classic Championship.
Apart from the contact, though, a great race for you. You got to the front, you led, and you disappeared. You must be happy how the car went.
Absolutely. Car's absolutely spot on. Car's faultless. It dried out a bit. So I was finding more and more grip, which was obviously helpful. I got the tail out quite a few times and managed to catch it. But it was slippy, but great fun, brilliant.
What's the chance of 3 out of 3 this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
want to heap pressure on you.
No, I just go in every race as it comes. I don't, we've got a heavy night tonight, so no, I won't be drinking.
Okay, well done. Congratulations on the win.
Cheers, thank you.
As we see the top 3 on the podium, it's Molden, Fisk and Butler, the top 3 in the Pirelli Ferrari Formula Classic race at Knockhill.
We talk about the racing series here, Nigel. This is actually your old car we are standing in front of now. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the racing cars we have here?
Right, well, let's start with this one. This is a really famous car. It belonged to JK originally, and it was used as the camera car in his video. And you can see some shots of it years and years ago. It's a rare one because it's road registered. I used to use it to go track days in Spa and all over the place. And it's still racing today with another 4 owners at least, with the seals still on the engine. So the engine is amazing for all the work it's done. It's spent most of its time on the rev limiter, so it's absolutely fabulous.
Interesting story for race number 2 is the return of Gary Culver. The clutch packed in qualifying, which meant he missed race number 1. Gary's done a little bit of testing last night. He thinks the clutch is good, so let's see how this man gets on in race number 2.
Qualifying for this race yesterday, Lee Molden, also race 1 winner, number 8, the fight, 355.
Race number 2 for the Ferraris at Knockhill. We've got Lee Molden on pole. Peter Fisk, though, it's going to be quick in that big 550 V12 car. Can Chris Butler make amends from yesterday, where it was really hard charging? Unfortunately, a spin took him out of contention. He's in P3, and then Gary Culver. The return of him, let's see how he gets on in the second row of the grid. Shaping up to be a fantastic race.
Race number 2, the lights appearing on the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge at Knockhill, and away we go. Let's see what Gary Culver can do. It's a fabulous start from Culver. What happened to Chris Butler there? It's like he didn't even have the engine running when the lights changed. Butler mid-pack and mired by a pile of Ferraris as he goes in towards Duffy's Dip, Leslie's and turn 3 at McIntyre's. But Molden, Fisk and this time Gary Culver pulling away at the front. Also in the middle of that looks like Nick Cartwright in his 328 GTB as well. Look at the conditions, beautiful sunny conditions, complete contrast from what we were dealing with yesterday when there was a lot of surface water at the hairpin, the corner they're approaching just now. And that big 550 Maranello was in all sorts of shapes and sizes yesterday. So will we see Peter Fisk get that to the top? Will he have the power and show us the pace which he had in qualifying? Further back down, Tristan Simpson, after a bit of a happening yesterday at the hairpin, just finding his feet and finding his way through. Len Watson also, he featured yesterday. A little bit of smoke on that car as he powers up the main straight. But look at Gary Culver. We lost him yesterday. The clutch did give up after qualifying, and he was a big loss to the pack. And today, Gary Culver looks like he could be the man here. He's all over the back of Peter Fisk as they make their way towards Clark Corner. And has Molden got what it takes? Can he make it 3 out of 3 here this weekend at Knockhill Racing Circuit? But look at Peter Fisk. He's been strong on the brakes all weekend in towards the hairpin, and there's still a little bit of a damp patch offline there. That shouldn't be too much of an issue for these drivers. You'll see that and they will miss that out up the main straight. 5.4 litres of V12 Ferrari power, really tucked up behind the 355 challenge car just now as they go in towards Duffy's. But we dive back into the mid-pack and pick up William Morwood in car number 29. William in his 308 GT4. He's in class number 1. But here are the leaders again at the hairpin. Such is the hot, frantic pace at the front. Peter Fisk now. He did reckon the tyres would maybe go off in that 550 Maranello quite quickly, but he's putting Lee Molden, yesterday's race 1 winner, under huge pressure. He pulls out from the slipstream up the main straight. He looks like he was passed as you go underneath the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. Somebody in the pit wall's happy with that. They're waving. And to the front goes Peter Fisk, number 30, in his 550 Maranello challenge car. Beautiful bit of overtaking there, set that up on the way into the hairpin and powered up the main straight. Now he's got to try and make that thing, in his words, not mine, as wide as he possibly can as he goes over the Arnold Clark chicane. And that's brought Gary Culver right back into this battle as well. It's not as quick as the little nimble cars through the twisty parts of the circuit, but look at it stretch its legs as he gets onto the long straights. In towards the hairpin, he's already pulled out a good gap there, and if anything now, Gary Culver starting to give Lee Molden a right deal of pressure as they go in towards the hairpin. Again, the concertina up as they go through the corner, and the big 5.4 V12 accelerates away up the main straight, and Gary Culver now has a look on the inside. He's pulling alongside Lee Molden, but he just doesn't have the out-and-out pace here. Car doesn't have the legs. It's also not the greatest at overtaking places going in towards the top of Duffy's. It's a very short braking zone, and you've got to be 100% alongside committed. No real rooms for lunges in Ferraris. Into the pits for Tristan Simpson. Disaster for him. Let's hope that's not going to be too terminal for him. Still Fisk at the front as we see Tristan Simpson getting waved out of the pits from the team, which is good news. So Tristan Simpson rejoins the track from the pit lane, but we need to find out where our leaders are. And here they're coming through Hislop's now. And under pressure is Peter Fisk. In fact, no, he's not. That just looked like a funny camera angle. It's side by side for second place. Molden with Culver on the outside. Culver, unfortunately, on the wrong side. Locks up with the light inside wheel there. But can he get a good cut back through the corner and away up the straight as we see... we've missed him this race. Chris Butler. After the disastrous start for Butler, he's now got himself through. And he's up into 4th place. As we go through the twisty part of the circuit just now, the 550 Maranello car really starting to struggle as they go through the long race here. Oh, Culver with a big break going through the Arnold Clark chicane there. It's like he was almost caught off guard. Didn't want to touch the back of Lee Molden's 355 challenge car. And now you can almost feel the nervousness in Peter Fisk's car there as we wonder what that one was up to. That's car number 52 there. Thankfully, Len Watson wasn't joining us in the gravel trap, but it did look like he was about to up the main straight. Culver, you can see how hard he's trying. He's putting wheels in the gravel as he exits the hairpin. But as much as these two try, they're battling for a good second place. They can't make any inroads in towards Peter Fisk. Nick Cartwright, we see going through, currently in 5th place. A good lonely run for Nick. as the leaders also dive down Butchers and over the Arnold Clark chicane. I've got to say, at this point in time, it looks good for Peter Fisk. Is going to take some sort of manoeuvre, and Culver again. Big lunge round the outside, big manoeuvre as Fisk covers the inside. Can Culver get this manoeuvre made, done and finished as they come through the hairpin? It looks like it's going to be a drag up the straight now, and he looks like he's ahead of Lee Molden. It's a good manoeuvre from Culver. He gets himself behind Peter Fisk now, and that's him into second place as they go past Len Watson on the inside. He moves well out of the way and lets the guys go past, but in towards McIntyre's. It is still Fisk. Now from second place, Gary Culver, the man who missed race number 1 yesterday due to a clutch issue in that car. His 328 GTB is now well up to speed. And Lee Molden, yesterday's winner, now in third place. He'll be sitting there just thinking about where he can pass, if he can do anything. That looks like the last lap board goes out. Molden, can he make a move into Duffy's dip? Yes, he can. He's alongside and he's through. He passes Gary Culver. Very brave manoeuvre doing that in towards the top of Duffy's, then down through Leslie's, and the move is now completed for him. Has he got anything on this last lap for Peter Fisk? Because he's rolled right up to the back of that 550 Maranello challenge car, and is he coming towards the hairpin for the last time? Culver's on the grass as they go through Hislops. Good grief, Culver on the grass at possibly the fastest point of the circuit. 2 wheels on the grass, but it comes to nothing for him, and Peter Fisk has only got to accelerate up the main straight here, and he takes a fabulous victory in the 550 Maranello challenge car. Well done to Peter Fisk. Arm out the window. He looks absolutely delighted with that. Lee Molden gets good second place, and Gary Culver third.
We finally get Gary Culver on the podium this weekend. It's been a bit of a fraught weekend for you, but that was a race-long battle you had with Lee Molden there, with some good overtakes, but in the end you come out in third place.
I know, yes. Well, it made up for the disappointment of yesterday, quite frankly, when we had car problems. But today, a really cracking race. I really enjoyed every minute of that.
A classy second place for Lee Molden in race number 2 here, and you had to work hard for that because the re-emergence of Gary Culver certainly kept you on your toes there. But having said that, Peter Fisk wasn't far up the road either.
No. A fair play to Peter. He thoroughly deserved that. Great drive. I mean, this thing's, quite a bit twitchy in the corners, and I was all over him, but as soon as he got on the straights, he was off. So it was like that all the way around. Fair play to him, he drove brilliantly.
Race 2 winner Peter Fisk, and you said to me at the start of the weekend this was the wrong car for Knockhill. Well, you proved everybody wrong there. What a race win.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'll tell you now, that's my first ever race win.
Congratulations.
Right, class wins in the past, but never checkered flag before. So yeah, personal pressure as well as pressure from those two.
Yeah, but the big car, what's it like? Because Lee's telling us it's twisty, it's twitchy, it's a bit of a handful.
Yeah, it's like one big drift round here, to be quite honest. It's pretty scary, but she did fantastically. I can't say anything better about the car. And Neil Garner, who's prepared it for this season, fantastic job.
As we see the podium as Peter Fisk takes his first ever victory, first checkered flag for him. He's had class wins, but a good victory from Molden and Culver. So over the course of the weekend, the Knockhill Racing Circuit, with the 85 Ferraris that went from the Forth Road Bridge and went in convoy across, driving up to Knockhill Racing Circuit, they made themselves at home in the paddock, and a lot of other cars joined us on display as well. We need to thank each and every owner who decided to bring their car up and display it at Knockhill Racing Circuit. It really was a sight to behold for everybody, even the kids getting well and truly involved. We had something from the very early beginnings of Ferrari right up to the current and beautiful La Ferrari, which was on display and also on track. Speaking of on track, we had some demonstration laps from actual race car Ferrari, so you could jump in that and get laps around Knockhill Circuit. Sitting next to a proper race driver in tricky conditions and see him at work in his office. There was track day sessions as well, and they turned out to be very popular with the Ferrari owners, taking their beloved pride and joy on the circuit and sampling just what those cars could do in a nice, safe and controlled environment for them. Nothing better than hearing the sound of a Ferrari engine going from the hairpin all the way up past the circuit office towards Duffy's Dip at Knockhill. There was a parade lap as well. All the cars from the paddock came down and followed the safety car in the circuit, and that was something pretty special.
We've just got Mal stepped out of this beautiful Ferrari, the Cliff Allison car. First of all, what was it like to drive it around Knockhill?
Wow. Yeah.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, just fabulous thing. You know, you start to get the tyres hot and the clutch starts to bite harder and the gears go swifter. You know, you could see it was all coming together. Fabulous thing.
What a glorious sound of the engine as well.
Oh yeah, there's nothing else quite sounds like a Grand Prix Dino. They're unique.
The final Ferrari race of the weekend is just about to start. The cars have just left for their green flag lap. Let's go and join the commentator and see who takes the win.
The final Ferrari race is about to start here at Knockhill under blue skies. Oh, Richard Fenny in trouble. He's got his arm at the window. Let's hope everybody misses him on the start. And they do. And at the front, not the sharp end, look at this side by side down towards Duffus Dip. It's Fisk and Molden, and Fisk takes the lead as they go down Duffus and in towards turn 3, which is McIntyre's again. The famous 3 at the front. But will we see Chris Butler come through and join these guys at the sharp end as away from the lights goes Richard Fenny there. Obviously a bit of a problem with that car. Thankfully he's got going, because at the hairpin already, that was a big moment there for Peter Fisk. Looked like that had a lot of turn and oversteer. That big 550 Maranello car. Somebody else spinning on the grass here. Must be a slippery corner to do the hairpin. That's Ray Ferguson as he gets away from the hairpin in his lovely 328 GTB car. But Peter Fisk, Lee Malden, Gary Culver, as they go through McIntyre's corner, down through the lowest part of Knockhill now, Butchers, before you climb from here all the way back up to the start-finish line. A constant climb. Look at these 3 at the front, and here he comes, car number 5, Chris Butler in 4th place, making his way up towards the sharp end after a disastrous start yesterday, as Gary Culver has a light popping up there. So whether he's trying to flash Lee Molden, who looks sideways through the hairpin, is there something slippery down on the track at the hairpin? Because everybody seems to be having some sort of moment as they turn in through that corner, and the conditions are pretty nice, so you'd think there'd be enough heat in these tyres by now to get them through there. But let's focus on the battle at the front. In fact, I'll have a little look mid-pack just now. Car number 85 going through, David Edge, and he's got Tristan Simpson, the recovering Tristan Simpson after a bit of a disaster in race number 2. Simpson having a look as they come through the Arnold Clark chicane there. Can he manoeuvre that car up the inside of Clark corner? No, he can't. He thinks better off it. But the leaders are already picking their way through the traffic. And at the hairpin, Peter Fisk takes a nice defensive line on the way in. Lee Molden goes wide. Gary Culver has to cover the corner from an incoming Chris Butler, and we know how aggressive Chris Butler will be at the hairpin. We already saw him ploughing into the side of Peter Fisk in race number 1 down at the hairpin. Ploughing, maybe not the best word, but it does sensationalise it as we now come through the Arnold Clark chicane. And look at this, Molden all over the back as they go up the inside towards Clark corner. And they go past William Morwood. William staying well out the way there. Keeps to his racing line, in fact, and does the correct thing. Again, William gets put a lap down by car number 44, and that's Christopher Goddard. Chris Goddard has been pretty solid all weekend. Getting a couple of good class finishes in there for his class that he is in. As the leaders now come through McIntyre's, and look at this. Fisk under huge pressure from Lee Molden in the number 8 car. As they come through the hairpin now, ticking down the laps and the minutes. Oh, big sideways for Lee Molden. It went one way and then it went the other, and he caught it as he made his way up the main straight. But we need to look at the battle for third, because Gary Culver is drifting off the back of Lee Molden, and he's coming under quite intense pressure now from Chris Butler as they go through Butchers on the Arnold Clark chicane. Now, is there something wrong with Culver's car? Is this a legacy of what happened on Friday and Saturday for him? As Molden looks towards the inside, but Fisk covers it at Scotsman corner. Through they go down towards Butchers. Molden looking at the inside again as they come through the Arnold Clark chicane, but Fisk just slides across the nose of Lee Molden, gives him half a car's width there, but Lee Molden's not going to go through there. But look at this, he's managed to pass on the exit of Clark's, and he completes the move before they're anywhere near Hislop's or the braking zone for the hairpin. Great move from Lee Molden. And it's about time he checked out, I would imagine. He's sideways out the corner, he really is trying very hard here. Let's have a little look and see who the fastest lap of the race is so far, as Chris Goddard makes a good manoeuvre and goes past Ray Ferguson there. Lee Molden has the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:06. As we go into the last lap of the weekend here at Knockhill Racing Circuit under blue skies, beautiful weather conditions, nice and warm. As Lee Molden goes through Leslie's and then back to McIntyre's. Out of McIntyre's he goes down through Butcher's and climbs to the Arnold Clark chicane. As we catch up with Peter Fisk, it's been a good weekend for Peter in the 550 Maranello car. He's been solid all the way through. But Lee Molden comes in towards the apron for the final time of asking. All he's got to do is negotiate the apex and not get too keen on the throttle. Many a race has been thrown away there in the past, but Lee Molden accelerates up towards the checker flag and he takes a fabulous victory in the sunshine here at Knockhill. Second place for Peter Fisk, and Chris Butler will come through for a very well deserved third. Hands out the window from Molden, he's happy with that one, and equally so Peter Fisk. And there's your third place man, Chris Butler.
Chris Butler takes a very well deserved third place after a bit of a comeback drive. It's not been the greatest of two races today, purely for machine trouble.
Yeah, a little bit. I've got this problem with the engine mountings, I think, or the gearbox, so I'm struggling off the start. But once I get going, I'm having great races. I'm, losing 2 or 3 places off the start, and then gaining them back, reeling the cars in, and had a good battle there with Nick Cartwright into third place. And then there was a lot of oil down on the track, actually. So I think the winner, actually, Lee, I think he was dropping it. A bit Dick Dastardly, that. So I backed off a little bit to preserve third and make the podium.
Second on the road after a race-long battle with Lee Molden is Peter Fisk, and that 550 Maranello, it looked like a big handful for you out there.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun, and Lee is like a Rottweiler. He doesn't let up for a second.
You know, it was Clark Corner, big sideways moment for you, which ultimately gave Lee the lead. Did you think you could have maybe come back at him, or was he gone by that point?
No, to be quite honest, I think that we were shot at that point, so once he got ahead, there's no getting him back.
Congratulations anyway. Remember what you said to me at the start of the weekend, this is the wrong car for Knockhill. It proved wrong.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, thank you.
Lee Molden, what a fabulous weekend you've had here at Knockhill Racing Circuit. It has been almost a dream come true. And that third race really was the icing on the cake there. A good battle with Peter Fisk, trying to force him into mistake, and he actually cracked.
Yeah. Eventually, I got him to crack. Yeah. He just made a slight mistake, and I just backed off and managed to just get the power away. But I didn't manage to keep back up with me, so I just got back on it, 110%, and it kind of paid off really.
As we see the podium there, it's Lee Molden, Peter Fisk, and a happy Chris Butler on the podium for the Pirelli Ferrari Formula Classic Series.
What a fantastic weekend here at Knockhill Racing Circuit, looking at the Ferrari Owners Club, celebrating 50 years of that organisation. We hope you've all enjoyed the Ferrari racing that we've shown you, and a nice look around the paddock at some glorious bits of machinery. Until next time guys, take care.